Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the Master Grade 00XN Riser, or Sunriser, I guess as it's actually supposed to be pronounced technically. But anyway, this is a really awesome kit. I'm sorry that it's taken me a while to get this kit snapped up. After my unboxing video, I've been snapping up this kit, and it took me extra long because I did a lot of extra sanding because I'm going to be painting this kit like straight away. So yeah, you guys actually should see this actually fully painted not too long after this. Gonna be just kind of a side thing. But anyway, so yeah, sorry for the wait, but it's finally here and there's a lot of stuff to go through in this review. This kit comes with so much stuff, so I'm gonna try to get through it as quickly and painlessly as we can. Anyway, here's just a look around the base Gundam. I wanted to show you guys this without the backpack on first, and also without the cap on the back, as you'll see as it's coming around there. Sorry about that, but just because I really love how this mobile suit looks even without the backpack, and it's sort of just so like plain and simple. It sort of looks very similar to the XE, I suppose, but I really prefer the look of this one. Just a really cool look in this state like this. It's so sleek and just simple, but all the lines and everything all look really nice, so I like this a lot. I also just want to, again, say a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for providing me with this kit for you guys, and also just big thank you to everyone who's been pre-ordering the kit since my unboxing video, and I let you guys know you could pre-order the kit through USA Gundam Store. They let me know that they've been getting a lot of pre-orders for this kit, so thank you guys on their behalf for getting your pre-orders. I believe you can, I don't think they sold out, I believe you can still pre-order this from their site, and you can use my coupon code there, ZakuAurelius 10, to save yourself 10% on that. So if you can't still pre-order it, I think you should be able to buy it there once that's released. It should be getting released pretty soon, or at least they're stopping the pre-order pretty soon. Anyway, you can check that out on their site. In the meantime, let's get this stopped. The first thing I want to do here is just show you guys how the LED unit's going to look. So this kit does come with an LED unit here. So you just have to assemble that. The batteries aren't included, you just have to buy a couple of batteries, and then that lights up nice green LED. Very easy, the orientation doesn't matter, you just slip it in the back. And there is actually a couple stickers to help control the glow like out of the neck and other areas. I didn't use any of the stickers on this yet though. But so like that glow you're seeing under the head, that will be covered if you use the stickers, or you just paint over that to cover that up. You can see the eyes are also glowing nice and bright. I also didn't use any stickers for the eyes at all. I didn't use any stickers on this kit at all at this point because, like I said, I'm going to be painting it very soon. So once you got that on there, here's just a reminder about what you actually get for markings for this kit. You get this sheet of dry transfer decals, which I believe are mostly for the Gundam itself. And then you have these sticker decals, and you can like use these ones where it's just a black outline and then the eyes are actually clear, so you can put that on there, so then the LED light will still come out through the clear part, but you'll have the black outliner on the eyes, so that'll show through. But there's just a whole bunch of markings on there, and then foil stickers here. If you're not going to use any LED, you can use these foil stickers. That's not like really shiny green, it's like a just turquoise kind of green color, so they're not going to be like really silvery shiny eyes like you normally have with these kind of stickers, but you can use these ones here as well under the GN condensers around on the joints. And then we do also have a set of water slide decals. These are mostly for the XN riser for the backpack, unfortunately not for the Gundam, but I have gone ahead and ordered some more water slide decals from Samuel for use for the Gundam itself. Attaching on the backpack is nice and simple, no problems with that. And you can see that light also pokes out the back of the head as well, which is pretty cool, and the sides and everything. So it's pretty cool. It would be awesome to like fully LED this up so you get light actually coming out of all of the GN condensers on the elbows, the wrists, and the sides of the knees would be pretty cool. We do have some other points to put in LEDs though. You can actually use 5 LEDs in this set in total, which is pretty crazy. But even with the backpack on, still really liking the look of this Gundam. It's not that I dislike the backpack, it's just that I like it even more just without the backpack on there. But you can also lower, I have the GN condensers, or the GN drives, they're on the backpack, but they look like they're on the shoulder. Anyway, I have them in their raised position. You can lower those down, it's a really cool like locking mechanism for that, which is quite nice. Let's get a look at the articulation quickly. The articulation, in a word, is very fantastic, but I will just briefly go over this here for you guys. So like I said, here on the top of the shoulder you can see there's that little lock. If you release that, then you can move this up and down freely. So you can move that down to a lower position, just like that, and those will just stay down like that. But if you want to raise it up, you just raise it up. Put that lock in there, and then it's nice and firm. Now the GN drives themselves can be removed like this, and then you can stick another LED unit in here if you want, and then this will light up. At the moment I don't have 5 green LEDs, but I do have a second one. So I can at least momentarily show you how that's going to look when it's lit up. You can see that's going to be shining nice and brightly. Actually, it shines out really nicely. Actually, I think I've been saying it wrong. I think these are actually the GN condensers, right? So then these on the joint caps, are those not GN condensers? Are those something different? Maybe I'm wrong with my terminology. Again, I'm not the biggest 00 fan, so forgive me if that's incorrect. But anyway, even with these, if you put the LED into this one, you do still get some light out of these as well. It's just this really thin, nice glow of light just around the outside, which actually looks quite nice. So these are going to look quite basic. When that's connected to the shoulder, it's a really quite interesting look, I think, personally. I think I'll probably just go with the traditional drives, but it's not a bad look just trying that. And I like how the light is coming out and like shining even like on the blue part there. It's quite cool. Alright, so getting back to the articulation, while we're still on the topic of these drives, those can also be rotated back or forward. You're gonna have to be careful of the head V-fin there. There is a point of articulation here, so like this whole gray part swings forward and back a little bit as well. So if you kind of swing that out and then swing that forward, it's a little bit farther away from the head if for whatever reason you want to do that. Anyway, the head will go nice and far up to there, so you get a nice good angle there, down very far to there. The cockpit does open up by sliding out the white part just a little bit, and there's just a little like door hatch that you'd have to flip up. Kind of difficult to do, and then you can see there's our seated pilot figure inside of there. In the waist section, you can see we actually have like 2 points, one lower and one upper point of articulation to bend back, and then we can get that a little bit bent forward as well. So not a crazy ab crunch, but definitely well enough, I think. And side to side is very good because it has that kind of very circular just system there on the inside. So side to side is no problem there. The whole kind of side of the torso kind of extends out a little bit for if you want to get some bend in the shoulders. So you can see this whole part is kind of like coming out away from the body a little bit there. This small little shoulder armor can move up and down by itself. You can really only move that up to there. Bring the arm really only up about that far. So it's more than 90 degrees, but not a whole lot more. Otherwise, the arm, very simple, double joint in the elbow, as well as that rotation there at the top of the elbow is going to give you a joint to about there, not too much, but you can see those clear parts looking really cool in that kind of turquoise. No, they're not super green, they're like a little bit bluish color, and you can see the detail molded onto the inside of those. Here in the front of the forearm we have a band there, and then the wrist joint as well. These hands have a joint like at the base of the wrist, the base of the hand, and then the fingers are just the thumb is on a ball joint and then the 3 and 1 separated fingers. But the 3 fingers that are connected, you could cut those apart and then you could have each individual finger articulated, is what I'm trying to say. But we do also have a couple other hand options here. They're basically exactly the same, but we have the thumb on a ball joint, but the thumb is more curled, and then we have just a set of fingers that's just molded here together as just a solid fist. Or you can use these holding fingers, and so again these fingers are all just molded together as one piece, so this is probably going to be a little bit more stable. But whatever hand option you choose, they all have the little tab on the inside that will plug into the handle of the weapon, so I think you probably won't have any trouble. What I like about these is just the ability to make just a nice tight closed fist, kind of more so than what you can do with these hands where you can't quite close those fingers all the way on the articulated fingers. Right, so the front skirt does move up and down a tiny bit. The side skirts move up and down a little bit. You can also rotate side to side, but basically those don't really have a whole lot of room to move around too much. You can remove this side panel on the side skirt and then move it down to the lower position, and then you'll have a hard point there for plugging on to the GN Sword 2s. You can plug those onto the side skirt if you want. Going around here to the back skirt, this can also move up and down a little bit, and the beam saber handles can move out like that. And then of course those can be removed to be handheld. The backpack, well, I'm just noticing they're looking kind of derpy. These little thrusters on the backpack can also move up and down just a little bit. And then in the legs, these have the track, which will allow the whole hip joint to rotate down and forward a little bit. And you can bring the leg up nice and far. If you also rotate that front skirt or just crotch piece a little bit as well, you can also kind of move that out of the way to bring the leg up to about there. And then this nice double joint you get in the knee. It's kind of a very like wide double joint. It's not like a single like V angle, but it's like ding, ding, ding. It's kind of a little bit weird looking, but anyway, it does allow you to get basically 180 degrees bend there. All this separation. The thigh armor doesn't separate, but we have this knee part that kind of separates, and then here, the lower legs. So when that all comes together, it's all pretty cool. And then down here in the ankle, the whole thing will move side to side. No problems there. Underneath the feet, some nice detail there. The front toe part will move separately down to there. These parts here at the base of the leg will move up and down like that to kind of get out of the way, so you can move the foot nice and far forward or nice and far back like that if you want. So all in all, ankle and articulation in general, very nice. So getting back to our accessories, because we do have quite a lot of them. So here we have our two standing pilot figures, one for the Gundam and one for the riser. So that's pretty cool that we have the two of them. We also have two action-based connectors. One is for the Gundam, one is also for the O riser. But for the riser, you actually have to have the GN Sword 3 attached onto the bottom of that in order to have this on an action base. Kind of weird that they did like that, but just have that in mind, I suppose. Simple clear pink beam saber effect parts for those beam saber handles on the back skirt. By far my least favorite weapon or accessory for this kit is the GN shields. I don't like how they look as shields. I don't like how they look as swords. They're just kind of these kind of ugly shaped things. But these can be plugged onto the Gundam. Here on the back, you can flip out this little peg here to plug that onto the shoulder like so. Or you can flip out this lower peg here to plug it onto the back of the arm. To be honest, I don't know whether I put something together wrong or if I'm just not pressing it in hard enough, but it doesn't really want to go in there on the back of the arm, so I don't really know why, but I'm not going to worry about it too much because I don't care to even display it like that at all. But for whatever the reason it's not going in, I'm sure you guys can maybe figure it out. But this does extend out like so, and then you can actually take off this blue part, and you can see there's two notches there. You can change the setting for that. Do the same thing with the other one, and then you can see they're opposite, so you can then match these up together and then make a larger shield, which now not only does it look stupid, but it also looks like a surfboard. You can also attach these onto the binders, so we'll put these to the side for now and bring those back a little bit later. So we also have the GN Sword 2 now, so this one I have here in sword mode, and then this one here is in rifle mode. So it's all basically just, to transform it is basically just folding up the handle together like so, folding this part back, and then taking this off, returning that 90 degrees, and that's how you transform it into the sword mode. I also have the attachment part on here already connected onto there. That's for attaching it onto the side skirt like I mentioned a few minutes ago. So again, that can just be attached onto the side of the skirt like that. We do also have two clear pink beam effect parts for these as well. So when you slide that down into place, it's going to be very long. So, I mean, this is kind of still one of its smaller weapons, but it's still pretty big. I mean, it's taller than the Gundam itself now that it's got the beam saber attached, the beam effect attached onto there. And we can make it even more. And then we have this extra little connection piece where you can actually connect the two of these together. So when you have those connected together, it's now super duper long. That's a pretty crazy weapon. Could use that if you're so inclined. I probably won't. That's a little bit too long, but you can see there's just the point there in the handle. It's also going to be, just because of the length, it's going to be hard for that to be exactly straight. I think if you maybe have it like that, to be a little bit better. But it is going to be kind of drooping down on the sides just because of how long it is. Then we have the GN Sword 3, so nice clear green piece for the actual sword blade. So this can be held in the hand, and then this part attaches into the forearm, and it's basically just used like a gun, like this. And then of course we can swing that blade forward, and then you can use it as an actual blade. And we have an effect part for this as well. It's actually two big parts that you actually just like sandwich together, and then that just slides over that. And then the tabs at the base here lock into place. And then you've got a super huge, big, clear, pink effect for this. This one as well, at full length with the beam effect part attached onto there, is going to be taller than the Gundam itself. And it's right about the same size as the GN Sword 2 with the beam effect attached on there. And now finally, shoo, the riser. And this one has a lot more white on it. The mobile suit itself doesn't really have a whole lot of panel lines on it really. So There's not gonna, I mean, there's some panel lines here and there and some details you're gonna want to fill in, but on this one I would definitely say there's a lot more space you'd want to go in and fill in some of those panel lines and details and everything. So do some lining on this for sure. You have two options for this canopy part. You have this orange or this frosty white. I think one is more, I think this one is, you guys told me this one is the one that's used in the movie or something, and this one was the one that was used in the TV show. So I think that was correct. Anyway, I decided to go with the orange for now. It's probably what I'll stick with for the final thing, but we'll have to see. Anyway, we have the binders here on the side, which can be taken off quite easily if you want, like that. These fins on the top and bottom of there can move back and forth, and then that can also flip out. This little dealie here on the back can move for whatever reason. But that's pretty much it. There is also a cockpit in here, and it's kind of hard to get to. It's just this little door in there, and we do have a little seated pilot figure inside there as well. We also have this connection piece, which will attach onto the bottom for connecting on the GN Sword 3. It's got this little tab on the top that was actually really hard to get out. It took me a few minutes, but then that can connect onto there, and that's how that is going to look. Or I guess you could have that pointed forward like so. So that is pretty cool looking. But now well, hold on, I guess briefly, we do also have some landing gear for that. You can have like the extended landing gear, or just like a flat landing gear that you can plug onto the bottom. I won't use this at all, so anyway, but no, you do have landing gear if you want to have that thing just by itself. But now we can get to the XN riser unit. Pew! This thing is super cool looking, just by itself, just as it is. This looks already like some like really awesome kind of spacecraft as it is, so I really like the look of this. I mean, you could have this thing just as a kit, model kit by itself, just kind of flying like that. It would be pretty awesome looking, I think. But it does look even better on the Gundam, so we'll get to that. It is very long. You can see those GN Buster Sword 3s, the two halves of that on here, looking very cool. And we have these little wings sticking out and everything. So this is all new parts, by the way. So this is what is actually new for this kit. Everything you've seen up until this point is all just the standard Master Grade 00 Riser kit. So this is actually what makes this kit a P Bandai kit, plus the water slide decals, I suppose. But so this is what's going to be different with this kit. This is what you're paying extra for, and I gotta say, it's pretty awesome. Alright, so here we have the XN Gundam. If you don't put the riser unit on, you just have the XN unit on there. Here's how that's going to look with those big, huge swords attached onto the backpack. It's going to be looking pretty cool. I think this makes a pretty awesome looking backpack just by itself. It doesn't really use, I think, the full potential of this kit though, so I can't imagine a whole lot of people are going to be using the kit like this, because then you have this whole other riser unit that you kind of don't really have anything else to do with. You can attach, of course, more weapons onto this. I don't have the shields on there, and I only have one of the GN Sword 2 on there, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea. The other thing that I wanted to test is the stability of the arm holding up that big, huge GN Sword 3 with the beam effect part attached onto there. And for the most part, it seems to be pretty solid. I think if I had the arm up at a higher angle, like at the shoulder, like if I had the arm farther away from the body, that sort of thing, it would probably droop down a little bit. It is really heavy on there, and so I can feel the weight of that, and the whole thing is really heavy now too. There's a lot of ABS in this kit, in the frame and everything, so it's quite heavy, and then with that big backpack attached onto there, that big weapon, it's definitely heavy already, and we haven't even attached onto the riser unit, but so far so good. Stability, looks, articulation, posing is all really nice. The side skirt was getting in the way a little bit. I wanted to have the legs a little bit wider, but the side skirts unfortunately do get in the way a little bit when it comes to having the legs wider than this. Alright, so here it is, the 00XN riser with everything on there. There's a couple things I didn't show you. I didn't show you guys just the regular 00 riser Gundam. You can make that without the XN pack. Just like I said, it's just the regular master grade of the 00 riser. I also didn't show you guys the binders attached onto the shoulders. Again, that's something that you can do with this kit. So you can do that with just the regular 00 riser Gundam. Also, I guess I was mistaken. I assumed that there was a place to actually put the GN shields onto the backpack as well, but even with that huge backpack and everything all attached onto there, I don't think there's anywhere that you can actually put the GN shields onto here. So if you did want to actually have it fully loaded up, you'd have to have those GN shields either attached onto the GN drives on the side or actually onto the back of the arms. I'll probably ultimately just kind of omit them, I think. We'll probably just go without my final build, but here it is. I also assume that you'll be able to put the GN Sword 3 onto the backpack somewhere, but as far as I can tell, there's nowhere for that to fit. You'd have to custom make something, so I'm not sure exactly what I'll end up doing with that, but we do also have some extra stuff that is not going to be used on this, despite that backpack being huge and having just a whole lot of stuff on it and being extremely back heavy. There is actually some stuff that we have in this kit that is actually not attached on there, if you can believe it. A couple other things I do want to show you guys here is that you might expect the handle a little bit difficult to hold because it's situated there in the center of this huge giant sword, but it's not actually that too bad. The wrist joint that you have is you're able to bend the wrist out so it kind of can get away from there enough. And the pose that I have it in at the moment is not really due to weight. It is really heavy, but you can actually hold it up and out. But again, just because of where the handle is located on the sword, it's kind of a little bit difficult to... Yeah, this thing is so heavy that even the action base connector has trouble holding the kit on an action base. But as I was saying, you can actually have the arm extended out like that, holding the sword, and you're not really having too much of a weight issue. The sword is pretty heavy, but the arms are pretty strong. Also, within this whole big mess of stuff here, you'll notice the GN Sword 2s are now being held in these little arms here. These arms are articulated, so they can't rotate, unfortunately. I really wish that they would have been able to rotate at the base there, but just due to that connection being square, they can't. But they can just at least fold it down like that and fold forward. So if you wanted to have those actually like using a weapon, you could of course turn the sword around. But if I take the sword out of there, you can see we have this little claw bit here at the end, which this part can rotate side to side. So you could actually put other weapons in there, I suppose, if you want. I'm not sure if it will hold the weight, but I suppose you could turn the sword the other way around and have that pointing forward like that being held in there like so. So that's just definitely a really cool feature. I like backpacks that have articulated arms like that. I think that's pretty cool. So finally, here is the kit with everything attached onto there. So all the weapons all attached on, and it is a pretty intense looking kit. This is definitely going to be getting some attention, having this on your shelf or display case or whatever. It's just crazy. And so really kind of skipped over really talking about any negatives of this kit. Really the only negative thing that I can say about this kit is just that I've had a really hard time just having it on an action base. Even with just before I put on the riser, when it was just the XN backpack on there, even then it was kind of hard to get it on the action base. The action base connection to the mobile suit itself is not very strong. So when you have a huge heavy kit and huge heavy backpack on there, I was having some trouble actually having a secure connection onto an action base. So that's dangerous. Luckily this includes that stand, so I'm probably just going to have this just standing like this. But if you want to actually have this up on an action base, it's going to be kind of hard and you're at a high risk of your kit falling off of there. So just be careful with that. Otherwise, I suppose probably the other negative point that people are going to point out is just that the kit's going to be expensive. It's a master grade P Bandai kit, so the retail price was 8,000 yen. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's basically the full double riser kit plus extra couple runners for making that really awesome backpack. I think it's worth it if you can get it at a pretty good price, and you can have a pretty intense kit. If you're a 00 fan, I'd say this is probably one you're going to want to pick up, even if you already have the 00 riser, or even if you have like the 7 Swords version or something like that. You can do a lot of really cool stuff. If you have the 7 Swords version, you could give like the riser backpack to the 7 Swords and then just use the XN pack for this. I think that could be pretty cool, or there's a lot of things you could do. But anyway, it's a cool kit. If you guys still have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. There's things that I didn't show you. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with all of this, with all these different weapons and accessories and things like that. So I'm sure there's probably some stuff that I didn't get a chance to show you guys, but like I said, for the most part, it's just the 00 riser master grade kit. So if you want to see more about the kit and the other things the weapons can do, things like that, check out some other reviews of just that kit. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys if you're interested in getting this particular version. I highly recommend it. I'm looking forward to painting it. And just again, thank you guys as always for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye bye.